Hi guys, it's Coach Pat from the Rant. Before we get to the Rant, let's talk a little bit about our sponsor, Premier Football Consulting. These guys do a great job of placing football players throughout the country at great programs from Division I to Division III. No one does it any better. But instead of me telling you about it, how about you hear from the CEO, Nico Pappas? Nico, tell us all about it.
Hello everyone, welcome to the Rant. My name is Nico Pappas. I'm Coach Pappas' son. I'm also the director and one of the founders here at Premier Football Consulting. Our team at PFC has been around for 23 years and is one of the largest football consulting groups in the country, as we've helped over 1,000 players and their family navigate this competitive, confusing, and costly recruiting process in an effort to find a great college fit. Our team consists of 15 former players and coaches that have experience at the FBS level, the FCS and Ivy League level, as well as the small college high academic landscape. Since the advent of the transfer portal, the NIL, and in the post days of COVID, this college recruiting process has become crazier than ever. It's confusing, it's competitive, and most importantly, it's costly. The PFC has stayed on top of all of these trends and has the ability to leverage our experience, our knowledge, and most importantly, our connections at the college level to give our players a huge edge in what will be a very competitive process. So if your son desires to play college football, I highly recommend that you get the help of an expert. When you go to buy a house, you look to hire a real estate agent. It's the same thing with the college recruiting process. When you are about to enter it, you should seek the help of an expert, and that's where the PFC comes in. So if you would be interested in a quick free consultation call, feel free to reach out to me at 617-308-7801 or shoot me an email at nico@premierfootballconsulting.com. I look forward to hearing from you. Thank you.
Thank you, Nico, and thank you, Coach Pap. Now, on to the podcast. Cue the music, baby.
All right, folks, welcome back. I'll tell you what, I'm co-host Coach Pap. Unfortunately, I lost to this guy down the bottom. I got to buy him dinner. Him and his lovely wife, Carla. I don't know. And we're going to North End. That's the great Danny V, and our producer. He's up in. Are you home yet, buddy?
No, I'm still in UMass. I
He's up
just
in
finished
UMass.
classes, and I got only finals left.
All right, buddy. Well, listen, don't flunk out of school. You only got a semester left. That's a great game right there. And welcome to our show, guys. We're gonna have a great show. We got the state championship, Zavarian Hawks on, and we're gonna talk about football as we always do. So, Dame, you want to hit us, get us going?
Of course. All right. So you guys know the past week, every MIAA division, all 8 divisions crowned a championship, guys. And you guys made a little bet with each other, and one of you guys won and one of you guys lost. So let's go through all 8 of the games and discuss.
I'm not one to pat myself on the back very often. But
what was the final? I don't even know.
I think it was 4-1.
I had Shawsheen.
Yeah.
Randolph went down. I know. Mansfield went down. Oh God. Thank God we didn't. Thank God I don't have to buy you 4 dinners. Oh God, unbelievable, buddy! Congratulations. I'll be back.
Thank you.
I'll be back in Boston in December. We'll go to Carmelise in North End. Danny, I don't want to go over all the games. Was there any team that impressed you the most?
I'll be honest. The game that did surprise me was North Attleboro, the way they handled Mansfield, because I thought Mansfield was really playing well going into that game. I know Coach Redding he really felt that his team was peaking at the right time. But I'll tell you, North Attleboro put it all together. They were a team that I had in the preseason top 10. Didn't look like they'd always played to their potential. I know they had some injuries, but boy, I'll tell you, they picked the right time to explode. I mean, that was as impressive a performance as we had at Gillette.
Explode is what they did, Dan. I mean, I watched all the games, compliments of the crafts. But I agree, North Attleboro was incredibly impressive. The game I enjoyed the most was Shawsheen. It was just great to see my paisan, Big Al Costa, be able to get a state championship. And again, that team will go down as the greatest vocational team in the history of Massachusetts.
No question about it.
And Danny, the way they won by, just defensively hanging in there. You're a big wrestling guy. We've talked about it a million times, but boy, did they show their grit. Did they show that they just wouldn't go away? And that fourth quarter they played was unbelievable.
And they had to, because that's Foxborough's game, bang it in there. It was just a matter of two teams, whoever was going to break first. And, Shawsheen wore them down in that fourth quarter. You got to give them their due. No question about it.
Yeah, it was great. It was great. And it was great to see. Again, and we're going to talk about the next segment. It was, there was the Catholic versus the public, and, the top two divisions. We had a vocational team win it. So, it was a little of everything. It was a little drama. I thought the people of Foxborough did a fantastic job. It's too bad they couldn't get an announcer for the Wednesday games. That was a little irritating. But besides that, just from afar, I thought it was very professionally done. How about you?
Camera work was good. And I'll tell you, it's tough when, those two guys, Brendan Glasheen and Andy Gresh, when you got to do 3 games. You could see they were getting tired by the third game, but I don't blame them. That's a pretty tough nut to crack, to go over, 3 games. You're talking 6-7 hours, maybe even a little more. But those guys, the one thing I do like about them is I do think they put the time and effort into it, because they certainly researched it. And, anyone who does their work to do that, I'm going to applaud them.
I've always thought that Gresh was a fantastic color guy. I was shocked. He used to do, I don't know if he does them anymore. He used to do the CAA games up in the Northeast. I thought he was great. I
think he gives a good call.
Yeah.
He clearly knows the game. And I think Brendan did a nice job leading him into a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
For guys that don't do this, I thought they were fine.
I really and truly, I enjoy listening to Gresh. I thought, and I don't know Brendan at all, but he did it as well. Again, really good. And, and it's not easy when you do games like that. And God bless them, they do a great job of not bad-mouthing the high school kids. Because, again, there's bonehead plays being made and stuff like that, but they're really good about it and not ripping them, which is good. That doesn't happen in every state. I've heard of a lot of different places. No. Well, I owe you dinner. We're going to enjoy it. It's going to be great. Dave, where we going next?
All right, guys. So, the high school season has come to an end, but of course the offseason continues. Guys, how do we improve the high school football going forward? How do we help the MIA? Because we all know we're not fans.
Well, listen, I'm going to pontificate. Boys, grab a coffee.
Fire it up. I'm ready.
Fire it up.
This is what I think.
Okay.
This is what I think. And hang in there with this. And Danny, I God bless you. Go back and forth online with the folks that are bitching about,
No.
Great. Boy, and what I love about you, Dan, is you're so patient with people, and you're never a wise ass. That's what I love. You are just patient with people. Yeah. All right. I'm going to give you and I'm telling you what. I don't know much about anything, but I'm going to figure this thing out for all you guys.
All right.
Here's the deal. Here's the deal with the MIAA. Massachusetts is different than all the other states because we got way more Catholic schools. We got way more private schools. So I keep hearing the word recruiting. It was recruiting. Everyone was recruiting all the way back. And now CM recruits and Xavier, listen, I can tell you this. I was in a situation at BB&N where at the beginning I had to recruit. It's legal. It's encouraged in the ISL. And quite frankly, I wouldn't be where I am if I didn't recruit. But at some point, the school recruits itself. All right. At some point, the school recruits itself. And everyone who bitches about the recruiting has to remember this. I can guarantee you there's none of these coaches that you're accusing of leaving campus going to get kids. But they got kids coming to them now. All right? And it's not just the Catholics. Let's remember that, and Danny, correct me if I'm wrong, at some point Everett went to school choice, correct?
I believe that I'm not 100% sure.
I think they did.
Okay.
School choice is rampant around Massachusetts and people don't realize it, okay? And I don't want to bring this up on camera, but I'm challenging everyone to look at some of the best players in Massachusetts in their college rosters. And they'll see they went to such and such high. They went to Watertown High, but they live in Belmont or whatever. And that is not recruiting. That's school choice. These kids have made a decision to do this. So we've got the publics that have school choice. The reality is Catholic schools have to fill seats. They have recruiting nights for all sorts of people. So when people say Catholic schools recruit, yes, they have to fill seats. They have to get them in. I'm not saying the football or the basketball coach recruiting. So we've got these situations. And since the beginning of time when teams really started winning consistently, and, it goes back to the early 2000s when Everett was winning consistently. And it's not just, it's not just football. When Charlestown was winning everything in basketball, when CM was winning everything in hockey, everyone's saying the recruiting. Here's the deal. What I say to all the people in Massachusetts, if you don't like it, turn them in. And put it into the MIAA's hands, and they can go in and see if they actually are. And my guess is they're actually not recruiting. My guess is people are actually coming to their school. So you can't go online and say, well, we can't play against those teams. Now, we get that all figured out. Now we go to the playoff system. Brian St. Pierre was onto it a few weeks ago. The way to solve this whole thing is to go to a super 8. I don't think the 8's going to be there. I would even suggest going to a Super 4. That would be mine. Super 4 this year. Danny, if we were to do a Super 4 this year, off your poll, correct me if I'm wrong, Catholic Memorial, Needham, King Philip, and who would be number 4? Who's your 4?
Xaverian would have been there.
Okay, Xaverian. So you go to those 4 teams and you say, listen, you've been chosen for the Super Conference. Do you want to play there? Okay? And then it's up to CM. It's up to King Philip. You know what? Yeah, I want to play in the Super 4. I want to be the super champion of Massachusetts. If you don't, no hard feelings. Step back, and then we'll invite number 5. We'll invite number 6. But Danny, you saw it back in the Super 8. This is the only way you're going to solve it. Because I know the King Philip people were going crazy that CM recruits and CM's in Division 2. Well, they can do whatever they want. They're not breaking the rules because the MIAA has not said they're breaking the rules.
Right.
But if we go to the super group, then it's all game. Listen, if CM doesn't want to play if the CM wants to play in Division 2, that's their choice. I mean, their enrollment, Danny, next year is going to be a Division 3 enrollment, right?
Well, right now they're borderline Division 4.
If CM wants to play Division 4, that's their right. I have a saying: don't ever apologize for being good. But the only way they're going to solve this, Dan, is the only way they're going to do it is they have to go to the Super Division, in my opinion.
See, I'm along with that. One thing I've suggested is, the MIA is big on, we have to have 8 balanced divisions. And my thing is, why? I think the problem is Division 1. I think what you need to do is you need to shrink Division 1. You take the top, 12 to 16 programs, you put them in one, and then divide the rest of them by 5. So now we have 6 divisions. You're going to take all the Catholics out of the mix. And then you'll get you get your Springfields. You may have to put Brockton in there, a couple, Central Catholic, a couple others. And all of a sudden, now you've got 12 to 14 teams. You've got a big division, and you've got balance everywhere else. And I think people will be happy.
I agree with you, but I think there has to be some choice in the end if you want to play the Super. I mean, Coach Kobsko did an unbelievable job at Needham, and I'm just reading stuff online,
right?
But one of the rallying points is, we beat a Catholic school, we did this, we did.
Well, they beat 2 of them, really.
I'm sorry, buddy.
They beat 2 of them because they beat Central.
Yeah, 2 of them, exactly. Yeah. But I think, listen, I don't disagree with you. I just think the Super 8 or this in the football situation, the Super 4 would solve everything. They did it in hockey. It worked great back in the day. I don't know. So that would be my suggestion moving forward. And honestly, the guys who've got to do it is Steve Dembowski and his group down at the Coaches Association. They've got to pull this thing together and do it. Okay? Forget about the expanded playoffs. Listen, I'm going to be long gone before Massachusetts tells hockey and basketball to step back a week. They're never going to do it.
No,
never.
absolutely not.
So forget about that. You're never going to be like Connecticut playing into the second week. And so let's just go back to a Super 8 or a Super 4. I'm volunteering to help you with it. Okay, that's my feeling on the MIA. All right, moving over. The privates are a mess. They just met on Sunday. They are an absolute mess. And again, we're talking about the NEPSAC. It's not just the ISL. It's they don't know if they're coming or going. Rumor has it the ISL Lodge is going to be down to 5 teams. Okay. The rumor has it that Evergreen's going to have even more movement. All right. There is talks about going to 4 divisions. Okay. Something Chip Kelly talked about when he was at UCLA and going to 4 leagues, which it basically has become the Power 4. So the privates are a mess. All right.
Mm-hmm.
There's only one way they can figure themselves out. And I'm not volunteering for this job. They got to get a commissioner. Okay, they got to get a commission. They got to get a guy that can step in there, and they got to tell the ISL what to do. They got to tell the Evergreen what to do. They got to tell the Founders League, the Choates, and all those guys what to do. Because for a mini Ivy League, which they are, they're a mini Ivy League that are some of the brightest guys in the world. They're a bunch of stupid idiots for not knowing how to figure this goddamn thing out.
Let me ask you this. If they were to take those 4 leagues and you combine them all just for football, you could probably have, 4 or 5 divisions, I would think.
Yes, Danny, exactly what you're talking about. Yes, and pick your division. That's the one thing. You can pick your division, okay? But you need a commissioner there to say, hey, listen, Cho, you've won 37 games in a row. You can't play division. Not that LJ Spinato or whatever want to do that.
Right.
But there is no organization in that crew. None. They do the best they can. They get in, and then they turn it over to the headmasters, and they turn it over to the athletic directors, and they don't care about football. I mean, it's just what it is. If they cared about football, they'd let them play more than 8 games. So my solution for the privates is get a commissioner, go to the 4 divisions, and just play the thing out. It's the best way they can do it.
As far as the ISL, I'm assuming Governors might be looking to go down.
I've heard Governors, and believe it or not, Lawrence Academy, which I can't believe.
Wow.
I just can't believe.
The uppers would be what? BB&N, Tabor, Milton, Belmont Hill, and St. Seb's.
Yeah, 5 great teams. Who are they going to play? I mean, who the hell are they going to play? Which I'm going to talk about in a second.
Yeah, I mean, because the other ones aren't going to want to play them.
The ISL screwed up by throwing St. Paul's out a few years ago and not letting Dexter in. They screwed up. Both those teams are solid teams with great educations, with great tradition, and they blew it.
And Dexter's local. Dexter, I mean, it's an easy commute for a lot of these schools.
Dexter was a no-brainer, and they blew it. They should have let them in. They threw St. Paul's out for some crazy thing. I have no idea. It wasn't anything illegal,
right.
but St. Paul's was asked to leave. And now what do you got? You got 16 teams, and you got 11. You got 11 of them that don't want to play in the big leagues. It's crazy. So where does it leave these other teams that are working hard? That drives me nuts. So I've got the MIA figured out. I got the NEPSAC figured out. Now let's go down to my big weekend here.
Yes, sir.
The Super September weekend. All right. Now, totally voluntary. But you get the best public, the best Catholic, the best private schools that want to play, say, the second week of the season. Brian St. Pierre's brought it up. I know CM has to go out of state to get games. You know, who wants to play King Philip anymore? I mean, so we have this really super weekend that every other state does. California does it, Florida does it, Texas does it, Georgia does it. Let's have a really cool weekend. It's not breaking any rules, okay? It can be on regional TV. It can be on national TV. But I really believe that would really fill the void for a lot of these schools that are looking to fill games. I mean, why does CM have to go down to Florida to play? Why do they have to go to New York? Okay? They can't find games. So that's the thing. That's my third and final thing. We got to need Super September weekend. The only thing we need is a director. You know who I'm nominating your buddy Matt Feld.
As long as you're not nominating me, I'm fine with that.
Oh, yeah. No, me and you, we're gonna sit on the side and smoke cigars. We're
That's
good.
It. Nice. Yeah, I'm in.
We need a young guy who understands this stuff to make this with panache, get it on TV, get it on ESPN. That's my idea. All right. What do you got?
I like it.
All right. I love it. That's all I needed.
I'm in.
I needed vindication. I needed my guy.
Got it from me. I love it. I like your passion. I like thinking outside the box.
I love it. There we go. Finally agreeing on something. It's awesome.
Oh, that's rare for you two.
And hey, listen, we got all the answers too, Dan. Anyone needs any help, we'll get them. All right.
Oh yeah, it's you too.
just don't tweet at Danny.
Never.
All right, Dave, where we going next, buddy?
All right, guys. This last Sunday, college football dropped their first 12-team playoff bracket. I don't know about you guys. I'm very satisfied with the teams they selected. I think SMU should have gotten in over Alabama. I know some people think that's a hot take. I think the committee did a good job. Maybe some of the games may have been a little different. But overall, I'm satisfied with their selection, and I'm so goddamn excited for this playoffs. Guys, what do you think about it?
I like it. The one thing, and I think Greg McElroy touched on it, and I'd love to see this. You get your 12 teams. We need to seed them. Not the way it is, because no disrespect to Boise State, they are not the third best team in the country.
Right.
You take the 12 that are in, and I'm okay with the 12. I mean, I did feel a little badly for South Carolina, but hey, no matter what, you go to 12, you're always going to get the 13th team who's going to gripe. If you expand it to 16, you're going to get number 17 will gripe. So I mean, it is what it is. But I would like to have seen them just get your 12 teams and then seed them from 1 to 12 and go from there.
I don't disagree with you, Danny, but I love it. I mean, I love what we're about to see here. And again, you hit it right in the head. When we're arguing between 11, 12, 13, and 14, you know what? It's really no argument. Alabama, you lost 3 times. You lost to Vanderbilt. Shut up. You know what I mean?
Smoked
Miami,
by Oklahoma.
Oh,
Smoked.
Smoked.
They scored 3 points.
Please. Go away. And I like Saban. I think Saban's done a hell of a job as a commentator. I like him a lot.
Tremendous.
But he was off on that one. What? We shouldn't even schedule him. We'll just schedule an easy. Well, you were going to take Alabama over Miami. Miami only had 2 losses.
Right.
But I am fired up. By the way, thank God the Chiefs hit the over. I'm back in business. My DraftKings account has money in it.
There you go.
Yes, I'm fired up. So now I'm betting 3 dogs this weekend.
Who do we like? I got to hear this.
Oh, I absolutely. I love Tennessee.
Yeah,
I think Tennessee.
7.5, right?
I like that.
Yeah, I love Tennessee.
That half is big.
Oh, please, love Tennessee. I love SMU. I think SMU is going to go in there and battle. But my pick of the week is Indiana. I think Indiana.
That's where you lost me.
But Notre Dame's not that. Notre Dame is so fucking overrated, Dave.
Everyone hates Notre Dame. Everyone hates Notre Dame. I will stick up for them. They're my team.
What the who? I mean, look at the schedule for Christ. Oh, they beat Army. Oh, they're great.
A&M was a great team. Believe we won by 2 touchdowns.
A&M.
I was in Northern Illinois.
I don't want to talk about that.
Damien, I'm telling you right now.
Place that game.
Dave, take all that money that we pay you, all right, and throw it on Indiana. Throw it on Indiana, getting 8.
It's home, baby. It's home. Irish Stadium, baby.
Dave, you want a little piece of this?
Baby, that's how we like to play.
Dave, you want a little piece of the action? You want to do like a little dinner at what's that place called? Get anywhere in Wayland any good to eat?
He wants to. He'd go. What is it? Antonio's or?
Yeah, Antonio's. Yeah. You guys come up here. Yeah.
I'm coming up there.
Take me to my food. Yeah.
I'm taking your lunch money, Dame.
Pizza on tap, guys.
Bully.
Not only do I like those 3, I'm betting a 3-team parlay with those guys. 3 dogs.
Nice.
The only dog I don't like is Clemson stinks.
They're not very good.
Nah, they don't like. Hey, Danny, you know who I'm going to pick to win it all? Boise State.
Really?
Yes. They've got 1 loss. I mean, they got 1 loss to Oregon, which is like by 3. They battle. They run the football. They can play in any kind of weather. I'm just going Boise State. Who you got?
Yeah, I know you're gonna get mad if I pick Oregon.
You can pick Oregon. I don't care.
I just think Oregon's got it all.
Yeah,
I like them.
They got the 27-year-old quarterback. I know what you're saying.
Is he that young?
Yeah, he's that young. Yeah, this is gonna be fun. Where we going next, Dave?
All right, guys. I know this is going to be a very polarizing conversation right now, but I don't know about you guys, but for me, I'm going to be asking Santa for a nice UNC sweatshirt underneath my tree, guys, because I am all in on Belichick going UNC.
I mean, I'm a Belichick guy through and through,
Yep.
but this is wacky. I mean, this even by his standards, this is wacky. I mean, you talk about coming out of the blue. This came really out of the blue. And Carolina blew to boot.
I couldn't be any happier.
Here it is.
Let me tell you why I couldn't be
There
any
we
happier.
go.
Number one, there's only one reason why he's going to take that job. He can't get an NFL job, which I've told you guys for 2 years. Can't get one. I mean, his little buddy, Mike Lombardi, who follows him around like a little leash or anything else. Oh, boy. Yeah, even Mike couldn't get him. They've already done their research. He can't get an NFL job. So he goes to Carolina. Okay, he's going to go to Carolina. His son is the coach in waiting or something like that. Good luck with that one. Hell of a year coordinating that Washington defense. And now we're going to see if he's actually the greatest coach of all time, because Pete Carroll's won at both levels. Jimmy Johnson's won at both levels. I mean, not a national championship, not a Super Bowl, but Jim Harbaugh, pretty damn good at both levels. Tom Coughlin, great at both levels. Let's see if the hoodie can do it, Danny.
We shall see.
Yeah, you're speechless. You are literally speechless.
I still cannot believe when you look at that he can't get an NFL job. I mean, I don't know.
Why? But the proof is in the pudding. Why would he go to North Carolina? Is not even a good college job.
I just that's I can't you know I can't even defend. I don't even know how to go there. Well, you know, how to justify. You know, this is a good move. I just it makes no sense. I mean,
he on McAfee, he talked about the reason doing it, and I got to be honest with you. He made a ton of sense. Like, I want to get these guys that want to be pros. I want to train them to be pros. I want to do it this way, that I want to, so I'm going to get all the best players. I'm going to train them to be pros, and they're going to go on and they're going to play pro football. And that, I get that. But at 72 years old, you really want to do that? I mean, I don't know. That'd be like me going out of Watertown Pop Warner and saying, listen, I want to run your program to make a good high school. I wouldn't want to do it, but that's his deal. I don't know. Don't make any sense to me.
He's hungry.
oh, same here.
Okay, we're jumping to the next segment, which is going to be a great segment. We got state champions with us from the Xaverian Hawks. We got the head coach, Al Fornaro, and his all-star running back / do everything, Vincent Bush. Welcome in, guys. Awesome. Hey, welcome,
There
guys.
you go. Can we get Vincent over a tiny bit?
Which way? This way?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, on big screen. Yeah.
All right, that's perfect right there.
Vince. Yep, perfect right there. Go ahead, Danny. Start us off, buddy.
Well, I mean, it's always tough, to go back to back. But if you're going to do it, I guess the guy next to you is probably gives you as good a chance as any. Talk about what Vincent has meant on and off the field.
Well, we came into this year and we didn't have a tailback. He played last year a tiny bit at tail and a tiny bit at wide receiver. We had other guys. And he, as the old coaching cliches, he took the bull by the horns from day one and proved that he was the man. In the off season, this is what makes football programs run smooth, when you've got a young man who's highly motivated and works hard. When your best players are your hardest workers, you're probably going to be successful. And he's one of our hardest workers.
Vincent, what did you learn from last year's team that you may have, because last year that you had, Henry was the leader, but this year guys like you had to assume the leadership role. What did you learn from last year's team that helped you this year, would you say?
Last year, our leaders did a great job at making us feel like it's a brotherhood. So we had to carry that tradition on. So what I did was I just made sure we're all close together, and we would all hang out on the weekends and work out together. And it just felt like we were all together.
Yeah, I mean, this year it wasn't a smooth run. You had some bumps along the way. When did you feel like, at some point, did you feel like you guys had turned it around, where you started to feel like, all right, we're back on track here?
Yeah, we've always just had the next play mentality. So we would just come to practice every day trying to get better. And we would just focus on whoever we had that week and forget about a loss and forget about what happened last week. Even if it was a win, you just have to move on and get better.
Yeah, it seemed like after that BC High regular season game, you guys seemed to kick it into the next gear. When you get into the playoffs, there's always that opportunity. I'm sure part of you would love, after what happened the regular season game against BC High, getting a second shot at them. Talk about what that was like.
That was awesome, because we knew that we could have done better ourselves, and we did it. And the team fought really hard, and in practice all week, we were all very focused and just knew we were going to be given a second chance. And you're not always given that second chance, and we were lucky enough to get it. And we did a great job all week, and then we executed in the game.
Al, what do you take? What's your take on this current playoff format as is?
Well, it's I'm not sure what the best one is. This is what we have. I would have to say that I like it, because going in with 4 losses, it is not something that everybody has an opportunity to do. I know I've watched your podcasts, all of them, and I understand that people come into the Thanksgiving. Connecticut this Sunday or this Saturday will have the state finals. They had the semifinals last weekend. They do have a few teams down there that play on Thanksgiving, but not like we do here in Massachusetts. Now, I'll also say there are a number of schools that have ended their Thanksgiving rivalries, but I'm not the one who's going to go over and tell Needham and Wellesley after 125 years you're not playing anymore. I had even mentioned to the executive committee, would they play on Sunday? And the answer is no, because that's a big thing. The past 4 years of college guys are all back. That's a deal for them the night before, hanging out and then going to the game. So I don't have the answer. If I did, I wouldn't keep it a secret from anybody. I think the only thing we could do, and nobody would want this, is you go all the way back to the old days, was the top 2 teams in each division made it. And even that had flaws. And they had people not scheduling certain games and teams. The key there was to schedule a team 1 or 2 divisions below you that was going to go 9-1 and get all their points.
Up the points, yeah.
Right.
I'm sorry, Danny. So we're going to talk about the different part of the show, because I got all the answers out. I don't know if you knew that. I got all the answers.
Okay, that's good.
What else is new?
Al, I've been undefeated for 12 years now. But I'm going to talk about this. But one way, a simple way that I think this honestly could put all the arguing to rest is what Brian St. Pierre said a few weeks ago. is come up with a super division. I don't know if, and Danny and I will discuss this. I don't know if it could be 8 teams, but I think of 4 teams. You know, they used to do the Super 8s. I think of 4 in football, and I'm going to give you my reasoning later. But and again, it's going to be you are selected if you want to go. If not, stay. But I think that takes away the argument about public, private, Catholic, all that stuff. So I think that, and again, you're absolutely right, Al. For a team like Xaverian, quite honestly, God bless you guys. You go out and you play everyone. You play the metal. You play a smash mouth brand of football. You know what? It's the way it should be. So I applaud what the system is all about, in my opinion. And I think you guys did a great job of managing it this year. I'm going to jump to Vincent real quick. So Vincent, I don't know if you know this, but I recruited your dad and I coached your dad.
Yeah, he told me.
Yeah, your dad, Eric. I'll tell you what. You want to talk about a tough guy and everything else. And Vincent, when I watch you play, you remind me of Eric. Okay. Can you talk to me a little bit? I coached my sons. You know what I mean? My sons used to say, Dad, why do you yell at me more than the other guys? I go, because I can. Tell me what it's like playing for your dad, you know, coming home after games and so on and so forth. It must be just a great feeling to have a role model at home for you.
Yeah, he's always led me in the right direction, and he's always pushing me to work harder. And so it's awesome to play in front of him, and then to come home from practice and like see him happy with what I'm doing is the best feeling, really. And to just know I'm trying to make him proud, and seeing him after the Super Bowl game, that was the best experience I've ever had, really, with anything. And so that it's just awesome.
You know, you talk about guys who can get fired up. The guy next to you can get fired up a little bit. Any colorful stories about Senor Fornaro that you're willing to share, or maybe can't share on the camera?
Yeah, there's definitely a lot, but something that I always remembered was like my first time stepping into the weight room when he told me that I'll never impress him. That's always stuck with me because it shows that he's worked with the best of the best. So if I want to become one of them, I just have to trust him, and that's what I've done, and that's what I'm going to continue to do.
Al, has he impressed you now?
Well, that's partially true. I do say that to them. I said the way they'll impress me is with their work ethic, and he did with that. As he alluded to, I've had the luxury of having a number of young men come through here and outsiders. I used to host the Northeastern powerlifting team as a boy, not to bore your audience, but Joe Capolino was the IPF World Heavyweight Champion. Joe has squatted over 1,000 pounds, benched 790, and they're not going to do that because they're high school athletes. But their work ethic and how they lead through example and draw other students in because they want to be like them, that's what's impressive.
I love it. Al, I grew up with Tom Lally.
Yes, I spoke to him the other day. Yep.
Talk about, and we coached together and everything else and played with him. What a great player. Al, I'm really impressed the way you coach in this day and age. I got to be honest with you, I don't think I could do it. But you do a great job. You do a great job of coaching an old school way and also not pissing anyone off, quite frankly. How do you manage? I mean, you've been around a long time. How do you manage this new age, coaching of the new age? How do you approach it?
Well, I think young men want to work hard. I really do. They just have to be shown how to do it and why it's done. If you're talking about schemes specifically, the 2 teams that played Thursday, ourselves and Needham, are 2 teams that want to come downhill and bloody your nose. And part of that is what sets your identity away from everybody else, to be a tough guy. That doesn't mean you can't be a spread team and not be tough. But you practice and how you practice. Practicing hard doesn't always mean physical, but practicing hard, being physical in games. There's a team up on Route 1 here that won a world championship by running, whatever you want to call it, ISO lead, with a former defensive tackle from Brown University at fullback running over 220-pound linebackers because the game has changed the speed. So take advantage of perhaps undersized linebackers. And I always tell people this. It's certainly not the only way. It might not be totally the right way, but it's the Xaverian way, and that's all I know because this is the only place I've ever been.
I love it.
But, the last thing I was going to say, Vincent, What's it like playing at Gillette?
It's awesome because it's our goal in the summer workouts. That's what we're looking forward to. That's what we're trying to get at every practice. And I got to play there twice, and both of those were the two best games that I've ever got to play in.
Do you ever get caught trying to look at yourself up on the jumbotron?
Definitely a little bit. Definitely.
Supposedly too, Vincent.
Yeah.
Vincent, I know you have a lot of opportunities. Is there any way you're leaning towards to spend your next 4 years?
I'm still not sure yet, but probably URI and UMass are my top two right now.
That's fantastic, buddy. We'd love to have you keep around. Al, you'll be around for a long time as well. Guys, we can't thank you enough. Honestly, you guys do it the right way. It's an honor to have you on. Congratulations on the state championship, and enjoy your holiday season and get back in the weight room.
Thank you.
Congratulations,
Have a good
guys.
gentlemen.
Congratulations,
Take care.
guys.
Bye now.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right, what are we going to go to? Let's
Guys.
do rants first and then shout-outs, okay?
It should never bother me. I've been in this business too long, but I laugh when these coaches will send me messages when the season ends. Oh, you guys have kind of ignored my player. Well, we haven't ignored your player. You played 11 games. You didn't report. You didn't call one score into the paper. You didn't email one score into the paper. I mean, how can we acknowledge your guys when you don't acknowledge your guys? It's pretty simple. You report your scores in, you're going to get your scores in. You report your highlights, you're going to get your highlights in. If you don't do that stuff, it's not going to get in. I mean, it's pretty simple. It's just amazing.
You get what you deserve, Dan. And you know what? And for these head coaches that bitch about that stuff and anything else, you know what? Learn a lesson and do it next year for the other. But because it's too late now. I mean, listen, I'm not here to blow smoke here, but no one does a better job with high school sports anywhere in the country than Danny V. And I'll tell you what, you acknowledge so many guys, so many kids, and so many sports, and so on and so forth. But you can't do it all. You can't do it all, especially in this day and age. And I'm preaching to the choir. Well, I mean, when you're holding things together with glue, you know, it's the coach's responsibility to do that. So yeah, I agree 1,000,000%. It must drive you crazy. My rant is for this crazy portal, this NCAA portal, which I have tried to figure out for the last 3 years, and it's just getting worse and worse. We have currently 18,000 football players that are entering the portal. Wow. 18,000 football players. Oof. It is absolute mayhem. And for anyone to think that this thing is not absolutely ruining college football at every level is crazy. I'm all for kids getting paid. I have no problem with that. Yeah. But there has to be a limit. There has to be some regulations. You just can't come up with this idea of a portal and saying jump in. And the problem is every malcontent in the country is jumping in, and it's messing things up for everyone else. And again, now it's even down to Division III level. So who's in charge of the NCAA? Do we know that guy by any chance? Yeah.
I think he's a local guy, isn't he?
A local guy. Yeah. Who I really like. I like Charlie Baker and anything else, but Charlie, we got to do something about the portal, please.
I mean, push the date back where you can't go until a certain time. I mean, these guys are walking out on their teams. And what I don't get is, if you're a coach and you see this kid walking out on his team, why would you want him? Because he could do the same thing to you the next year.
Of course, and many of them do, Danny. I agree 1,000,000%. It's crazy.
No loyalty, and it's the coaches too. The coaches jump from jobs to jobs. Yeah. So it's a vicious cycle.
They got to make it more difficult. Yeah. All right, let's do some shout outs. What do you got, Danny?
It's not often we get a local kid who's on the national stage, but we had that, this morning when AJ DeBanza, Brockton native, went on ESPN First Take to announce that he's going to be playing at Brigham Young. For the kids, for people who haven't seen him play, I mean, he is special. He spent 2 years at St. Sebastian's, then transferred out, but he's 6'9", can do it all in the court. If you're a Brigham Young fan, you better not blink because he's not going to be there long. The consensus is he's going to be the number 1 pick in the 2026 draft. So shout out to AJ.
I love it. I don't know the young man. I know the people at St. Sebastian's absolutely loved him. Said he was a class act. He handles himself very, very well. And Danny, what's crazy is the number 1 pick this year in the NBA draft is going to be from Maine. The number 1 pick next year will be from Massachusetts.
It's a hotbed.
Hotbed. All right, and my shout out goes to my lovely daughter D, who I had the pleasure of walking down the aisle this weekend, and I told the story, guys, crazy story. But on the Papa side of the family, going back to the 1800s, was all guys. I mean, it was crazy. My great-grandfather had a brother, my grandfather had a brother, my father had a brother. I had 3 brothers. First 4 grandkids were boys. So when D came 34 years ago, I literally started crying that because I love little girls, and I actually got a little girl. And she's been, I said, my 2 boys are my best friends. I love them to death, but she's my soulmate. It was just, for any guy who's got a daughter out there and hasn't had a chance to walk it out, I hope that it all comes to fruition for you, because I've been in a lot of big games. I've been in a lot of big moments, but walking my little girl down the aisle was unbelievable. So shout out to D. Wright.
Okay, now I'm going to play reporter because I got to ask a few questions here.
Go ahead.
What was the father-daughter dance?
Oh, it was the Beatles. Sherry, what was the dance? Here comes the sun.
Okay,
I'll send you the video, Terry.
Wait a minute, you get this. Here comes the sun, and you had a daughter.
Let me tell you something. It didn't matter. By the way, we rocked the dance too. I'm going to send you a clip. Dave, I'm going to send you a clip.
All right, I'm not done yet. I'm not done yet. Now, footwear. I noticed you had some fancy footwear. Describe.
Okay, so my D had this thing planned out. She did it in her backyard. She had the dance floor. She's got a big pool. She put a dance floor over a pool. It was gorgeous. It was casual in that way, but very formal. Everyone wore black, tuxes and all that stuff. She said to me, Dad, she goes, if you want to wear O'Regans, you can wear them. James O'Regan, who played for me, played at BB&N, was a great player in Amherst, started his own shoe line, the O'Regans. Matter of fact, he wants to be a sponsor, Dan. We got to get him on.
Nice.
We'll all have get him on.
Great. Oh,
I love it. I love it.
Damien's going to share. Dame, I'm going to send you a pic. Maybe you can get it up during the broadcast. And
of course,
they're really, really cool shoes.
Yeah.
Nice. You look fantastic. I hate to give you a compliment, but you look great.
Thanks, buddy. I appreciate it. I'm still glowing. I love you guys. You guys are the best.
Awesome.
You guys are the best. This has been a great show again. All right. And next week we'll be back. Let's get a really cool guest next week. I might track down either Carlos Canino or Mike Taylor. We'll get one of those guys.
Oh,
wonderful.
Wow. That'll be one. I'll see if you get one of those guys, I'm going to sit back and just listen.
2 secret agents. I love it.
There you go.
All right, guys. Listen.
All right. Take care, everyone.
Great one. Enjoy.
See you guys.